Hello students. We are dealing with unit number 12, Two Gentlemen of Verona. So in the last two classes of the same lesson, we saw that the author and his companion had come to the city of Verona, where they met the two boys, Nicola and Jacopo. And during their stay for a week in Verona, they got to know the boys very closely, and the narrator was much impressed by the different jobs that the boys did, and later he also asked them that whether they are saving money for the future so that they can go to America. But then the two boys were reluctant, telling them what for they saved the money. And later we also saw that after a week the narrator was supposed to go back to his place. Before going, he wanted to extend some help to the two boys. So the narrator asked the two boys in what way can he help them. So the elder one, Nicola, did not want to take any help, but what happened suddenly, the younger brother Jacopo suddenly said that they go to a place called Poletta, which was 30 kilometers from Verona, and every Sunday they used to hire a cycle and go there and come back after some time. So if at all the narrator wanted to extend some help, then Jacopo requested that why can't he take them in his motor vehicle. So the author agreed and they went to the place called Poletta, which was 30 kilometers from Verona. The narrator drove the car himself for the two boys, and as soon as they reached a big villa, they stopped the car and they told the narrator that, "Sir, now you go down to the village and have a cup of coffee for yourself, and we will be back in the same place after 1 hour." Indirectly, they meant to say that you need not come with us to see where we are going, so you can leave us alone for 1 hour. But looking at the villa and the way the boys jumped out of the car and suddenly disappeared inside the villa, the narrator was much curious, so much excited to know where did the boys go. So he also followed them. So now we are going to read further from page number 105, and we will finish the lesson in today's class. So on the slides I have given you only the key points, or you can say important sentences. I am not reading the text, but from where we are referring is 105 page number, last paragraph. So after a few minutes, the narrator followed the boys inside the villa. When he rang the bell, a nurse opened the door. He asked her about the two boys. So when the nurse opened the door, the narrator asked that just now two boys have come, I want to know where they have gone. She led the narrator through the hospital and stopped near the door of a little cubicle. So actually the villa, which was looking fancy from outside and somewhat mysterious, was actually a hospital from inside, and the two boys had gone to the hospital. Why did they go there? Let us see. She led the narrator through the hospital and stopped near the door of a little cubicle. So there was a small room. The nurse took the narrator till that room and they both stopped there. Through the glass partition, the narrator saw the boys sitting next to a girl of about 20 means 20 years of age, who sat propped up on pillows listening to their chatter, her eyes soft and tender. He realized at once she was their sister from their resemblance to one another. So through the glass partition, when the narrator saw inside the small room, the two boys were sitting, and there was a girl lying on the bed who was not able to get up and sit up on her own. So she had lot of pillows, giving her back support, and she rested on them. And she was about 20 years old. And curiously, anxiously, happily, she was listening to the two boys. Then, looking at their faces, the similarity between their faces, the narrator realized that she was their elder sister. He realized at once she was their sister from their resemblance to one another. Resemblance means similar. The nurse told him that the children who had lost their mother earlier lost their father in the war. So the children means those two boys and the girl who was lying on the bed now. So that girl, the elder sister, Nicola and Jacopo, they three were siblings, that is brothers and sisters, and they had lost their mother very early, and also in the war their father also got killed. As a result, the three children were left homeless and destitute. So as a result, they became orphans. Now they had no parents to look after them or take care of them. Their home was also destroyed. The children who had always known a comfortable and cultured life suffered from lack of food and cold. So once upon a time, in whose house, when the mother and father existed, they were alive, the children knew very well settled and comfortable and cultured life. But after the parents were dead, the children suffered in the cold weather because they became homeless and they were jobless. They didn't have any money to earn and eat food. For months they lived in a shelter they built with their own hands amidst the rubble. So during the war period also, the three children together, they only built a small shelter sort of thing for themselves and they stayed there. Then for 3 years the Germans ruled the city. The boys grew to hate the Germans. So the war between the countries, destroyed all this. A bomb had fallen on their house and the house had blown away and their father was killed. So now they were left homeless. So where to stay? So they built a house for themselves, not with concrete and all, with paper, sheets, polythene, like that. And for the next 3 years, the Germans ruled over that city. That is why the boys used to hate the Germans. When the resistance movement began secretly, they were among the first to join. When the people of that city started to rebel against the Germans, and like we had independence movement in our country against the British, like that, they had a resistance movement against the Germans. And when this movement started, the boys who were very young in age, still they were the first persons to join that movement. When the war was over and there was peace at last, they came back to their beloved sister. So during the resistance movement, they had been away from the sister, leaving her alone because they were working with organizations against the Germans. So after everything got settled and the war was over, they came back to their sister. But till that, what had happened? Lucia means this sister who is lying in the hospital now. Her name is Lucia, who had earlier been training as a singer, had developed tuberculosis of the spine. So who had been a very good singer and was also taking training to be a singer, she was now suffering from tuberculosis of the spine. So the spinal cord was not functioning properly, and that is the reason she could not get up by herself, neither could she walk by herself, nor she was able to sit on the bed by herself. Without any support, she was not able to do anything, and that is the reason they two means the two brothers Nicola and Jacopo had admitted their sister into this hospital, and every Sunday they used to come there to meet their sister and pay the hospital bill. And week full, that is why to collect the amount to pay the bill of the hospital, they used to work so hard. They used to do any kind of job. Like we read in the previous classes that they used to not only sell fruits, they sold fruits, they sold newspapers, they polished shoes, then they ran small errands, and they even took up job as a guide for the tourists who came to see the city of Verona. So since the sister was not well and they were too young to earn money, but also the boys did not give up. The boys did not stop working for their sister. They brought her to the hospital. Lucia had been in the hospital for 12 months and was making good progress. So 12 months is a period of 1 year, we know. So 1 year before, they both admitted Lucia into the hospital, and since then whatever work they got to do in Verona, they used to do so that they can earn money to cure their sister. So you can see in the picture as Lucia is having lot of support behind her back because she cannot sit on her own. So one day she would walk and sing again. So in the hope that their sister will stand up on her own, walk on her own and sing again, the boys in the meantime struggled hard to pay for her treatment. So that was not a charity hospital, they had to pay the bill. So that is why they worked lot outside from Monday to Saturday, and Sunday they used to come to Poletta to visit their sister, to meet their sister. The narrator went back outside and waited until the boys came out. Now all this story the nurse told the narrator and the nurse were standing outside the small room, and the two boys and the sister were inside the room. So the boys don't know that the narrator had come behind them. He saw their sister, he heard them talking to her. They don't know all this. Now he waited outside as if he had never come inside. So all this story of the two boys, the nurse told the narrator. After hearing this, the narrator felt very bad for the boys. He really felt pity for the boys. On the other hand, he felt very happy that in such a small age, they are able to think at such a high level that their elder sister, see they were hardly 12 years and 13 years, we read in the initial part of the lesson, but the sister was 20 years, so how much elder she was to them. But still they did not care that they are very small in age. Whatever work they thought was right, legal, they did that to earn the money and to pay for the treatment. So the narrator, was very much moved with this by knowing this, and so he didn't, and they had told him not to come inside. They had told him to go to the village to have a coffee, and after 1 hour they are going to come back. That means they did not want the narrator to know about their sister. That is clear. So that is why the narrator also thought that let them understand that I have not seen their sister, and let them think that they have kept their secret. I don't know anything. Acting like that, he came out and waited near the car, and the boys also came out after some time. Then he drove them back to the city. So lastly, they all three came back to the city. But on the way back, the two boys were quite silent. They did not speak anything. On the other hand, the narrator also kept quiet, kept his silence, and he did not ask them anything about the hospital, the sister, her illness, nothing, because he wanted the boys to believe that they have kept their secret. The narrator did not let them realize that he knew their secret, though he was very impressed by their devotion. That is what I told you just now. War had not broken their spirit. So even if the war had taken place, the boys were strong enough to stand and fight back and take up a life full of struggles because they wanted to cure their sister. Their selfless action brought a new nobility to human life and gave promise of a greater hope for the human society. So the author thought at such a young age, if this kind of selfless action can be done by two boys, then there is nothing greater in human society. So that is why he in his mind called the two boys as gentlemen, and that is why we have the title of the lesson, Two Gentlemen of Verona. So indirectly, who were the two gentlemen? Yes, the two gentlemen were the two boys, Nicola and Jacopo. So that is about unit number 13, that is unit number 12, Two Gentlemen of Verona. So the lesson ends here. In the next class we will take up comprehension 2, and till such time you are supposed to read the lesson once again carefully, and in your notebooks write down answers for comprehension 1. Till such time, see you in the next class in the next week. Take care. Bye.